What's going on, everybody? My name is Nick, and welcome to another episode of Short Circuit Sports, the channel that brings you weekly, lightning fast coverage of the sports world from a fan's perspective. I cover anything and everything from breaking news to scores and predictions with analysis to bring you guys anything that you might have missed in the sports world. That being said, we got a relatively short episode this week. We got some week 16. We are at week 16 in the NFL. Pushing right along, we are at week 16 in the NFL season. We got some Thursday night football recap between the Los Angeles Rams and the New Orleans Saints. We also got some major news out of Major League Baseball in regards to where Japanese phenom Yoshinobu Yamamoto would decide where he is going to play. And spoiler alert, it's the same place Shohei Ohtani's going. So don't miss those details coming up. And we also got my top 5 picks to watch and look out for this week in the NFL, week 16, along with their predictions. So for those of you that are not subscribed, please subscribe, turn on your notifications, like this episode. Would really help me out, would really help the channel out, and I would like to talk to more of you guys on a week-to-week basis. So with that being said, stay plugged in, stay charged up, and let's get into it. Thursday night football, the Los Angeles Rams defeated the New Orleans Saints 30-22 in Los Angeles. While the score tells one story, the entire game really tells another. The Los Angeles Rams had this in the bag from start to finish, holding this New Orleans Saints rushing attack with Alvin Kamara completely in check as he only went for 19 yards on the ground. Derek Carr, quarterback for the Saints, had a pretty decent week, throwing for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Did throw an interception, but at the end of the game, you can kind of make the argument that it was garbage time stats, and the Rams really did not have a whole lot to panic about by the end of this game. Quarterback Matt Stafford looks like Super Bowl Matt Stafford from a couple years ago. Went for over 328 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kieran Williams was absolutely electric on the ground. And rookie receiver Puka Nacua went for 9 receptions, 164 yards, and a touchdown. If he is not at least considered for Offensive Rookie of the Year, something is horribly wrong with the voting process. The Los Angeles Rams, ladies and gentlemen, I wrote them off at the beginning of this year, and I am not one to shy away from apologizing and saying that I was wrong. This Rams team is actually looking pretty competent, and they have a chance to really make some noise. They are currently sitting in an NFC wildcard spot, and if they can hold on for these next 2 weeks, they will be the team that nobody wants to face in the playoffs. They've got the veteran leadership. They've got things clicking on offense. Their defense looks maybe not to the all-star, all-world level that they were a couple years ago, but they are still in the better half of the league in some of those defensive categories. As for the New Orleans Saints, they fall to 7-8. They are now a half a game back of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFC South, and they will have a chance next week to completely make that up as they play Tampa Bay, and we will figure out where the Saints go from there. And if they lose that game, they could very well say goodbye to any playoff hopes. Moving on, the Los Angeles Dodgers have completely won this year's Major League Baseball offseason. At first, they signed Shohei Ohtani to a bonkers $700 million contract, and now they have made it an even billion by signing Yoshinobu Yamamoto to a 12-year, $325 million contract with a $50 million signing bonus. Yoshinobu joins Shohei Ohtani. For those of you that don't know, they were both on the World Baseball Classic team that ended up beating the U.S. in the championship game. They were both on Team Japan, and you know what? Far be it for me to say that Yoshinobu wanted to go where he was comfortable and where he would get paid, and now he gets both. And I mean, paying two players the amount sum of over $1 billion is absolutely crazy for me to hear. But if you're a team that can spare no expense for not one but two phenoms, pitchers at the same time that are both quality aces, I mean, the major question for this Dodgers team was, what is their pitching staff going to look like after this season, after this past season, where going into the playoffs, I mean, Kershaw was really their only guy with any kind of experience, and we saw what the Diamondbacks did to him. Walker Buehler was hurt. Bobby Miller didn't have a whole lot of he didn't have any playoff experience. He was a rookie. But Bobby Miller, I mean, he had a decent rookie season, but I mean, he was average at best in the playoffs, and then you really had no idea what the Dodgers could do going forward after that. And now, not only did they sign Shohei Ohtani, granted Shohei will not be pitching this coming season, he will be pitching next year, I believe in 2025. So we will see how Shohei Ohtani comes back from that surgery. But, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, this is what the Dodgers pitching staff looks like as of right now and on paper. I mean, Shohei Ohtani, Tyler Glasnow, and now Yoshinobu Yamamoto. When healthy, I don't think I can come up with a better starting three pitching staff in Major League Baseball. And when Walker Buehler is healthy, keyword healthy, that's always the story with these teams. Great star power, great on paper. What are they when healthy? And can they stay healthy? And if Shohei Ohtani's surgery pays off, and Tyler Glasnow's surgery pays off, and Walker Buehler's surgery pays off, this Dodgers pitching staff is probably the best in the game. And we don't even know if Clayton Kershaw's coming back, and we don't know how Bobby Miller is going to progress in his baseball journey. So the Dodgers have absolutely spared no expense. They open the checkbook, and a lot of people say that you can't buy teams and you can't buy World Series championships, but I mean, this is as good as you're gonna get. That being said, I have to agree with a lot of you critics. It don't mean a thing without the ring, and if they do not, I will give them a pass this upcoming season because Shohei will not be pitching. He will be hitting, but they at least have to make it past the National League Division Series. They cannot get blown out again by a divisional opponent. And if they can go into next season with some determination, or not this season, but the following season, and they can go into the following season with some high expectations and with Shohei coming back and being healthy, this team is scary. I don't imagine you're a team that's like, okay, we got the Dodgers coming up. We know what we're going to get from them. Okay, day one, you face Shohei Ohtani. Okay, he's Shohei Ohtani. Next day, you face Tyler Glasnow. Oh, great. And then the following day, you face Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who is arguably one of the better pitchers in Japanese history. I mean, let me read you some of his stats. He was a Japan Series champion, Japan Series MVP, 3-time, forgive me if I'm pronouncing this wrong, Eiji Sawara Award winner. He was 3-time Pacific League MVP, 3-time pitching Japanese Triple Crown winner, 5-time All-Star, 4-time ERA champion, 4-time strikeout champion, 3-time wins champion, and oh yeah, he's thrown 2 no-hitters. Yes, this is Japan stats. This is the MLB we're talking about. How does he equate to that? Good pitchers are good pitchers. That's all I really have to say. And we've seen some success from overseas coming over here and being successful. And now Yoshinobu Yamamoto is teamed up with his World Baseball Classic teammate in Shohei Ohtani, and he is now also on the West Coast, where he is most likely the most comfortable. And now the Dodgers are now primed to go on an unprecedented run if they can stay healthy. And now finally, we got my top 5 picks to watch and look out for Week 16 in the NFL. Last week we went a very mediocre 3-2. Was not our best week. Let's see if we can get a 5 spot for this week. Starting off, we got the Cincinnati Bengals at the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I got the Cincinnati Bengals pulling this one out. I mean, Jake Browning, I apologize. I really do. I apologize to Jake Browning. I thought that the Cincinnati Bengals were absolutely done for, nothing to compete for. I thought they were going to tank for everything that they were worth. And now they are making a major push at an AFC wildcard. Since they last lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers 4 weeks ago, they have run off 3 straight wins, and 2 of those wins were at home, and now they've got the Steelers again, and I think it's time for a little payback. The Steelers, on the other hand, since beating the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati, have now lost 3 straight, and also 2 of those losses were at home. I've got the Cincinnati Bengals pulling this one out. I think Cincinnati is one of the scarier teams because you don't know what to expect from them. No Joe Burrow. Their leader is out, and yet Jake Browning has completely stepped up, and I don't think they're going to catch the Browns or the Ravens in that division, but if they can beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh, there is a real possibility that this Cincinnati team can compete for a playoff spot. So we will see how that one plays out, but I've got them winning this one kind of handedly in Pittsburgh. This Pittsburgh offense is abysmal. Moving on, I've got the Detroit Lions beating the Minnesota Vikings by a touchdown, no less. Now, if there's one thing about this Lions team, it is that they have been very inconsistent. They are 2-2 in their last 4 games, and yet last week they had a very convincing victory at home over the Denver Broncos, who were at the time one of the league's hottest teams. I mean, Jared Goff is a much better quarterback than Nick Mullins of the Minnesota Vikings. And the Minnesota Vikings, I mean, they're coming off of a loss at Cincinnati, and Jared Goff is also a much better quarterback than Jake Browning. So I think the Vikings are going to have some trouble here. And with this rushing attack, 2-headed monster with Detroit, they've got Montgomery, and they also now have rising star Jahmyr Gibbs. I think that this is a very talented offense for the Detroit Lions. They just have a lot of questions to answer about their level of maintained success and where that is going to lead them in the playoffs. Moving on, I've got the Cleveland Browns beating the Houston Texans in Houston. Now, I told you that Joe Flacco was going to be one of the league's better stories, and he has shown it. He's got this Cleveland Browns offense rolling, having won 2 straight against the Jaguars and the Bears. Now, if CJ Stroud was healthy for this Houston Texans team, I would have probably taken Houston here because when CJ is healthy, this Houston offense rolls. Unfortunately, I do believe he has been ruled out for a second straight week with a concussion. So without CJ Stroud and with Joe Flacco rolling for this Cleveland offense, I've got to give the edge to Cleveland here. They have looked very good under his veteran leadership, and at the same time, you've also got that Cleveland defense led by Defensive Player of the Year candidate Myles Garrett. So we will see where this Cleveland Browns team goes. However, I think they get a pretty easy win here in Houston without their star rookie quarterback. Moving on to my number 2 game, I've got the Miami Dolphins beating the Dallas Cowboys. It's going to be a really close game. It's going to be a really good game to watch. But I've got the Miami Dolphins beating the Dallas Cowboys in a very, very close game. Now, we saw what Miami was able to do last week. And I don't think... I have said for a while that Miami is a tiny bit overrated. I think in regards to... with Tua Tagovailoa, he's very on and off. He's very hot and cold. And when Tyreek Hill is healthy, that offense is rolling. Without Tyreek Hill, that offense is not as hot. And I do think that Tua Tagovailoa is a top 10 quarterback. Do I think that he is an MVP candidate? I do not think so. They were able to beat the Jets 30-0 last week. That being said, they also gave up a very, very, very bad win to the Tennessee Titans a couple weeks ago, where they I think they gave up a 2-score lead in the fourth quarter, which was absolutely horrendous to watch. But again, they beat the Jets, really good defense, and so it is really hard to see where this Miami team is going to go. But if Tua can put it together, I think that this Miami team can go places if they can show that they are successful without their star receiver. And if they lose, Tyreek Hill has a very good case for NFL MVP because he is this Miami offense. Now, here's the reason why I have them beating the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys at one time were winners of 5 straight. And then last week, they went into Buffalo and promptly got their you-know-what's hit hard. They lost 31-10 against the Bills. And, I said it a couple weeks ago that the Dallas Cowboys against teams with a winning record were really, really bad. Yes, they beat the Seattle Seahawks, who were a decent team. Granted, it was a shootout. And then they did beat the Philadelphia Eagles, but a very tired Philadelphia Eagles team. But at the same time, the Philadelphia Eagles, in their own right, could very well be overrated. That is a story for a different time. I'm not going to get into that right now. But this Dallas Cowboys team, I said it before at the very beginning of the season, I think that their defense is overrated. Did I think Dak Prescott was an MVP candidate? Yes. Do I still think he is? Kind of. But they're very hot and cold as well. And against a team with a winning record like the Miami Dolphins, I think that their overrated selves are going to get exposed again in Miami, and I've got the Dolphins winning this one in a very, very close game. And then finally, we've got the game of the week. We got the Baltimore Ravens at the San Francisco 49ers. I think whoever has the ball last is going to win this one. It is in San Francisco, so I'm going to give the edge to San Francisco here. Lamar Jackson has been playing very well. The Ravens have won 4 straight going into this game. One of the league's hotter teams, and they've got a pretty pretty decent sized lead in this AFC. Not even the AFC North. They are the number 1 seed in the AFC, and they're going up against arguably the best team in the NFC. So, I mean, this could be a Super Bowl pick. You don't know, but with the way San Francisco has been playing, I mean, they've rattled off 6 straight wins. I mean, it's hard to go against this 49ers team. It really is. I mean, they've absolutely demolished every challenge in front of them. They've demolished the Cowboys. They've demolished the Eagles. They've beaten the Seahawks twice. And I mean, they are, in my opinion, the best team in the NFL. I think the Ravens are up there, but I think that they still have some question marks, especially with that run game, which is very weird to say, especially with Lamar Jackson at quarterback. But I think that San Francisco's kind of put it all together. They've got arguably the league's best defense, and Brock Purdy is playing very, very well. And of course, they've got Christian McCaffrey in that backfield. So I think that the San Francisco 49ers are just way too talented for this Baltimore team, and I've got them winning by a field goal, most likely a walk-off victory. So that is all the time that we got for this particular episode. If you like this episode, please like it. Please subscribe as well. Turn on your notifications. The whole thing would really help me out, would really help out the channel, and I would like to talk to more of you guys on a week-to-week basis. If you agreed with anything that I said or disagreed with anything I said, let me know. Let me know down in the comments, and I will be sure to address those in future episodes. And I mean, if there's anything that I didn't talk about that you noticed throughout the rest of the sports week that you would like me to cover, please also let me know down in the comments, and I will also address that in future episodes. So with that being said, stay plugged in, stay charged up, and I will see you guys on the next episode of Short Circuit Sports. Have a good one.